Hey y'all, it's your girl Tony, and I'm back with the tea for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 3. Now let's get into it. So first up, we have Brit, and Brit is with her husband. They're getting ready to have a small get-together at their home, a nice little fancy dinner. And Brit is basically saying that she feels that her relationship with her sisters have declined. She says that she used to be the owner of their insurance company and that they worked for her, but she had to fire one sister because she was a bit lazy when it came to work. And then another sister quit because she says that Brit was too hard to work with. Now, I don't know because I wasn't there, but it sounds like Brit might have been the problem in that relationship when it came to work. But either way, this part of the show didn't really seem that interesting to me. Not saying that Brit is just uninteresting or anything, but it just didn't really give too much. It was basically like, oh, let's just fill this in really quick before we get into the juice of the drama that's about to happen later in this episode. So we have Porsha and Kelly getting together for lunch, and they wanted to clear the air before Kelly's event coming up. And honestly, it's good that Porsha and Kelly were able to clear the air. Kelly spoke on, her asking why did Porsha steal Simon, basically. And overall, it seemed that Porsha was more upset that Kelly felt comfortable asking her because Shamia said if you have an issue or want to know anything about Porsha's business, say it directly to Porsha, but keep me out of it. Now, I don't take that offensive. I took that as Shamia being a real friend because she was basically telling Kelly anything to do with Porsha that, may be negative or scandalous, don't even mention it to me. Just go directly to the source. But for some reason, Porsha was very inflamed about it. It makes me wonder, is it a matter of, oh, Shamia isn't defending me and basically fighting for me, and now I have to fight for myself? That's what it gave to me, because there was no reason for Porsha to be a bit irritated with Shamia about that. So next we have Drew inviting Cynthia, Kenya, and Angela over to the studio. And Drew's over there getting comfortable, asking the ladies, oh, do you guys want like any refreshments? And she knows they aren't there for no refreshments. These girls are there because they want to know what is the tea, what is going on with Porsha's baby daddy, Dennis, and Drew. Because all these rumors are swirling, mainly that we're seeing on the show from Porsha and Shamia, that her and Dennis may be closer than what they're supposed to be. Now, Cynthia and Kenya let Drew know that she's wrong and that she's supposed to let Porsha know, hey, I'm working with your baby daddy. Cynthia even mentions that, when Kenya was working with Leon, Cynthia's baby daddy, they had a whole discussion about it, and Kenya got Cynthia's blessing. Now, I do feel like Drew is telling the truth when she said that, hey, I've been reaching out to Porsha and Porsha never responded. I would try to call or set up meetings and Porsha would either just not come through or she wouldn't return a phone call. Porsha, I've heard, does not answer the phone for her friends, at least people that think they're her friend. I have heard that before, so it doesn't sound too far off. Cynthia asked Drew if she's actually spoke with Shamia since Shamia is the one that brought up the Dennis and Drew rumors. And Angela actually speaks on it. She says that the last time they did see Shamia flipped out and was basically acting like she didn't do anything or say much about Dennis and Drew. And she wasn't questioning what they're doing with each other as far as, messing around. I don't want to say the bad word, but messing around. Now, Kenya says that that's not true, and Shamia was saying that, and Cynthia agrees. But on the little flashback we see, Shamia didn't say that exactly. She just asked, were they dating? Now, it could be true. It could be true. Shamia could have said that, but production may not have put that scene in, and we might not have seen it. Because one thing I can say, I don't think we really seen Kenya lie too much. It might have been little small lies, like, her butt not being real or something like that. But for the most part, we haven't really seen Kenya lie. Next up, we have Shamia and her siblings. She has two sisters, and she's actually having a touching moment with them. She's speaking about her motherhood journey and, fertility and how emotional and rough it's been having a child with disabilities and even her fertility. She speaks about how stressful IVF was and getting loaded up with hormones to the point where she would be at risk for blood clots or almost having a stroke. And she's very emotional. She's getting teary eyed, and she says that she doesn't really open up a lot to, share her problems because she's so used to being there for other people. And that all just reminds us a bit of her and Porsha's relationship, where it seems like she's always there for Porsha and catering to Porsha's needs and wants, but we don't really see Shamia's gets returned. So we kind of see right here in this moment where Shamia is admitting that she's more of a people pleaser. But anywho, her sisters give her positive advice and encouragement about her family and that her and her kids will be fine. And it's good to see Shamia have a supportive family and supportive sisters that love her. And that kind of helps us also see where Shamia gets that kind side of her from. So now there was another scene with Angela and Charles, and they were unpacking boxes in a home. Honestly, it was a bit boring to me. Not saying that Angela or her husband are boring, because I do think they have fun personalities that are very strong, and it seems like it's going to bring a lot of drama and wit. But I think that for the most part, this scene was a bit boring, so I'm just going to skip over it. We see Drew go to her attorney. This is her divorce attorney, and it's about to get real. They're speaking about the status of their divorce, and it's been over a year and a half that Drew filed. And Drew's attorney mentions that some things are about to become public in their divorce and unsealed about the case. Drew asks her what exactly is about to be unsealed, and basically it's all the allegations that we've already heard Drew state about Ralph. Him being a cheater, him texting inappropriately with other women. The lawyer uses another word for that, but I don't want to say it because I don't want YouTube to flag me. But Drew does this short cry, and she's like, oh, my kids, I'm just so worried about my kids. Kind of like Mia from Real Housewives of Potomac. And honestly, that was when I found Drew acting. I really did. This was my first time actually really accepting that. Drew, you're acting. We have already heard you say last season on the reunion that Ralph was a cheater. You've already exposed him for that. You've already said he texts women inappropriately. All the things that you are allegedly so scared about your kids finding out, you've already said it on TV. And that's why people say that Drew's a liar and an actress, because they don't know when she's serious, and for some reason she just can't stop acting. And honestly, I don't know if Ralph cheats or not. I don't know if she cheated, but they both were alleging that about each other, okay? So I just feel like it is what it is. You guys are done with one another. Let's just move on and wrap this divorce up. She's saying that Ralph wants her money, and according to Ralph online, he's saying that that's a lie. And like I said earlier, people just don't know the truth with Drew. So anywho, we just gonna hope they figure it out for the sake of the kids. Okay, here we go. Porsha and her mom, they're at a spa getting foot massages. I don't know what the name of this spa is, but it looks pretty nice. So next time I come to Atlanta, I think I'm going to go there. But anywho, Porsha's venting to her mom, and she's speaking about her divorce with Simon, saying how hard it is for her, and she's feeling so alone. And Porsha's mom is sitting there eating it up, just, agreeing with her. And Porsha's saying that her mom just feels so bad for her going through a divorce. Now, this reminded me of Porsha's first divorce with Cordell years and years ago on season 6. And Porsha's mom was coddling her and babying her through divorce almost too much, to the point where she was handicapping Porsha. She didn't want Porsha to move out of her home. She wanted Porsha to move in with her forever. It was just a little bit overwhelming because Porsha's not a baby. And even now she's not. She's 45. And she knew how she got with that man. It was never good. But anywho, they're speaking about Porsha reaching out to Simon's family during their issues. I guess Porsha wanted his family to help out. She's saying that in his culture or tribe, I'm not sure how true this is. This is all allegedly because it's coming out of Porsha's mouth. She's saying that it's common for the spouse to go to the other spouse's family so that they can have help with their issues. Now, according to Porsha, the family didn't want anything to do with it. They did not want to help support them getting back together, and they wanted them to continue and move forward with a divorce. Is that surprising to me? Not really. I mean, Simon has had 5 wives. So why would Porsha be any different? And not to mention the way those two got together was very sketchy. So again, I'm not really shocked, and Portia's sitting over there crying with her mom, and it's just a mess. It's really a mess. And honestly, y'all, I'm an empath, like real deal. When someone's sad, I can feel it. I can cry when other people cry because I literally just feel it in my body. And with what Portia was giving, I didn't feel a thing. And just as quick as she was trying to frown and, force something to come out of her eyes, which wouldn't come, she was able to flip it right upside down and smile while kind of, talking about her best friend, Shamia. Portia is laying it on thick, saying how, she's just been so sad and going through it and feeling alone. And, Shamia invited her out for lunch to get her out of the house. And basically, Shamia mentioned that she was being talked about by women. Now, in my opinion, Portia didn't really relay the whole story correctly. They did more than just, talk about negative stuff. They did have a good time going out together. But I also feel that with their dynamic, Shamia would have probably gotten, a good yelling at or lashing from Portia if she didn't share with her, hey, this person was talking about you. But let's not forget, Shamia defended Portia in that same breath. Me personally, what Portia did not seem okay. You getting with your castmate's husband before they were even divorced, it definitely comes off wrong, especially if you were in that girl's house. But needless to say, Shamia still defended her. Somehow, Portia gets the audacity to make it seem like Shamia's a bad friend, and her mother, Diane, is eating it up. Diane is telling Portia, oh, I know you don't want to hear this because that's been your friend since high school, but you need to watch her. You have to watch the dog that brings the bone. And Portia's just sitting there eating it up. She wanted her mom to say that because we all know people like that have their mom do their dirty work. And honestly, seeing Diane like this, Portia's mom, it made me think of Cordell. Do you guys remember Portia's first husband, Cordell? And he spoke about Diane having no boundaries and her mom being like head and neck. And I remember him saying he came home early and Portia's mom, Diane, was laying in his bed eating a large pepperoni pizza. Now, what man, I'm sorry. What man wants to come home and see another woman, not his woman, not, his mother-in-law in his bed eating a large pizza after he's been working all day? Nobody wants to come home like this is my bed where I lay my head, where I make love with my wife, and you're in it eating Pizza Hut. And I also remember Portia's mom getting into it with Dennis' mom, Gina, because she did not want them to get no prenup. Honey, Portia and her mom want the coins, okay? But anywho, the next scene, we're at Kelly's event. And it's a beautiful event that Kelly is hosting to raise money for osteogenesis imperfecta. And basically, that's just a bone disease that causes like brittle bones. And it's like very scary. And usually when a child is diagnosed with it, it can come off that the parent must be doing something wrong to a child because their bones are so brittle. And, usually that's seen in like poor cases of like, a child not being treated correctly at home. But Kelly speaks on her situation with her own children being diagnosed and people doing investigations at the hospital because they thought that she was harming her children. But it's a beautiful event for a beautiful cause, and Kelly has laid it out for the ladies. They're going to shop at Balmain. She calls it Balmain. I never knew it was Balmain, but, she's calling it the Balmain store. I'm sorry, Balmain. And she's laying it out. The girls are going to shop, and the money that they, spend, a percentage will go to, basically like a fundraiser to support the cause. So all the ladies are in attendance and they look great. They have matching dresses with their daughters and they're ready to shop and support the cause because we all saw Kelly was like a bit emotional and it was very touching that she shared that with the ladies. So everyone's there ready to support the cause except for Portia. Portia says that she's going through a divorce and, she can't be spending her lawyer money, which I thought was tacky because we all know Portia spends money on what she wants to spend it on. But anyway, Angela sees Shamia, and I think she wants to clear the air because she did approach Shamia warmly, and she said, hey, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but I would like for us to, try to talk and kind of fix it because that's not the way I kind of like to do things or, have that bad temperature in the room. And Shamia, I don't know if she's under a lot of stress because, she's dealing with all her family issues and children, but Shamia was pretty defensive and honestly, she was a little nasty towards Angela, even though Angela didn't come off that way to her, at this moment. So Angela is like, asking Shamia, like, hey, like, is it really that serious? And Shamia's like, oh, well, I would like to meet the real Angela and not Drew's representative. And Angela's like, well, you did meet the real Angela. And Shamia's like, well, if that's the real you, then I'm good. I'm good off of you. And she has like this screw face and she just kind of like starts storming away from Angela. And Angela's like, okay, Shamina. She's calling Shamia Shamina. She's saying Shamia is a mean girl. And Shamia takes that as a sign, I guess, to let me go ahead and set it off. So she says something about Angela having a 99 nose. And at first, I didn't know what she meant by that. I'm like, 99 nose? Like, are you saying she has a 99-cent nose? Because maybe she had a nose job and, maybe she's saying it was only worth 99 cents. I don't know. But she's basically referring to Angela's nose looking like it came from the 90s. And then she's saying that, Angela looks like the Jacksons, Michael Jackson or LaToya Jackson. And I thought that was kind of low because why are we talking about noses? And Shamia, like, most of your friends have face work. That's pretty obvious. And she had a friend on there, I don't know her name, but it was a little bit obvious that she had a lot of work done. It was Shamia's friend. It said in the subtitle. And she looked like she had a work done. So, I mean, even her, I didn't even see her laugh when Shamia said that because, you're kind of making it embarrassing for most of the people in the room who have gotten face work done and probably still feel, insecure. Well, Angela does not back down. Angela retaliates and she calls Shamia Flavor Flav. And a lot of people took that as a ism issue. I don't want to say the full word on here. I'm not sure how sensitive YouTube is yet, but they took it as her throwing shade at Shamia's skin tone. I personally understood what Angela meant when she explained it. She's referring to Shamia as Flavor Flav because Flavor Flav is the best hype man, and his partner, on the clock, I don't know, he basically doesn't do anything but just collect his check because he doesn't have to do the work. Flavor Flav does all the work. And honestly, that was a bit funny. I thought that was funny because it was a bit clever. But anywho, they're going back and forth. They're throwing low blows. And Kenya's like, hey, the children are present, honey. Shamia walks over to Porsha, and Portia's like, oh, well, they're saying that you're making fun of someone's physical looks. And Shamia's like, oh, well, we're even. She called me Flavor Flav. And I'm like, yeah, but Shamia, that was after you had spoke about her nose. But anywho, Portia's like laughing and eating it up, and she's making little Michael Jackson sounds because Shamia is saying that she has that Jackson nose. And I thought that was kind of mean because, Porsha, you've gotten a lot of work done too, girl. So later on, we see Drew kind of like, approach Porsha. She's like, hey, Porsha, I heard you wanted to talk. And Porsha looks up so confused, like, girl, I do not want to talk to you. Porsha even lays out this excuse that she's not feeling good this week and they'll just have to talk another time. But mind you, Porsha, you're out right now. All of a sudden you're not feeling good. You don't want to talk to Drew. And Drew is confused. She's like, well, you just said that, you want to talk. We're not doing anything. We can talk now. But she didn't say it in an aggressive manner. Drew was still coming off like all shy and timid. And Porsha gets in her confessional and she's like, oh, I don't know where Drew gets this audacity from demanding a conversation from me when it didn't happen like that. But we see that Portia's over there using anything as an excuse to not have the conversation with Drew. She even speaks to Kenya's daughter just to ignore Drew. Y'all know how Porsha gets when she doesn't see it for someone. She just wants to ignore them and act like they don't exist. But she gets in her confessional again and she's saying that Drew has the audacity to be trying to have a conversation with her because she has backup. And that's Drew's sister, I think her name is Alice or Allison. And we all know Drew's sister does not play about Drew, and she will literally get down to the nitty gritty and bust a grape about her sister. We all almost saw her fight at the last reunion, Courtney, because Courtney and Drew had beef at the time. And I honestly feel like Porsha's being smart right now because she knows if she gets into it with Drew, that sister is jumping in. Portia's in her confessional and she's saying that she's not gonna get taken down by two people, Drew and Heavy D. And she's calling Drew's sister Heavy D, of course. And I think she met Baby D from Friday. You know, you guys seen Friday where the sister is like the big sister. She's the little sister but big, and she's over there fighting her sister's battles. But either way, you know, Porsha may do a lot of slow things, but she was smart in this one because I think Alice really would pounce on Porsha because she knows her sister won't bust the grape. And I feel like Drew is being strategic too because I don't think Drew is a fighter. I think she may, you know, talk a tough talk when she gets in her acting mode with the ladies and she gets activated. But all in all, she's not a fighter. And that really just concluded the end of the episode because Porsha skated on out because she did not want to get attacked like how she attacked Jamie in that alleyway on season 8. Well, you guys let me know what you think of this review. Please like and subscribe and comment. I will comment back, and I'm going to talk with you guys later. Bye.